It is my pleasure and privilege to present to you, Bill Viola, the degree Doctor of Arts, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges appertaining hereto.
I cannot accept this honor without acknowledging my wife and partner, Kira, who's here somewhere, who for the last 25 years has shared this journey and selflessly contributed to the work that you are recognizing today. So thank you, my dearest Kira. Artists don't get a chance to speak publicly, so I've really thought about what I want to talk to you about today. And with running the risk of perhaps taking a little bit longer than I'm supposed to, I want to speak about a few things that have been important for me in my life. I'm very, very happy for all of you in this room. You are starting out on a journey today, a journey with an unknown destination. You have spent the last 4 years, or 2 years, or however many years, studying, absorbing, learning from your teachers, from the works of other artists, from each other. Up until now, you have always been dealing with other people's footprints, the material evidence of their journeys, the tracks of artists who have gone before. Now, you are about to start leaving your own marks out in the world. This is for real. In November 2003, I visited the school here and had an amazing, wonderful experience. It's the reason why I'm back here today. At that time, I told a story, a favorite special story that I want to again share with you. It comes from Megan Beasley, who's an anthropologist who lived for many years among the Khoisan people in Namibia in southern Africa. This was told to her by a woman named Bay. A woman named Bay was alone in the bush one day in Namibia when she saw a herd of giraffes running before an approaching thunderstorm. The rolling beat of their hooves grew louder and mingled in her head with the sound of sudden rain. Suddenly, a song she had never heard before came to her, and she began to sing. Gawa, the great god, told her it was a medicine song. Bay went home and taught the song to her husband, Tike. They sang and danced it together. And it was indeed a song for trancing, a medicine song. Tike taught it to others who passed it on. What is most special about this story for me is that it encapsulates so beautifully a small private moment in the life of a person in a faraway land who you would otherwise never know of. It is a precious insight, a small privileged window into a private, solitary moment. This is not an event of global significance on CNN, nor is it an ordinary moment. Rather, it is a special moment of revelation. This simple story focuses us right down to the essence of the creative act and underscores its universality at all times, in all places, in all cultures throughout human history. It shows us that creativity is a fundamental process initiated by an encounter with some aspect of the outside world that sparks something within the individual, within you. This in turn becomes transformed into an action or an object, which then goes back out into the world to be shared and experienced. For me, the key part of this story is not the moment of inspiration that led to the creation of the song, even though that makes for high drama, but rather it's the sharing and passing along. A private moment of revelation has become a part of the culture. The myths have been remade. Furthermore, and here's the real beauty of it, this story, in this case through Megan Beasley's recounting, continues to circulate and itself inspire us right up to the present moment. This is potent, timeless stuff, these objects of our creative energies. As creative visual and performing artists, Bay's story is the essence of what you do. This is your real work, your challenge and ultimate responsibility. It is both your curse and the source of your power, your incurable disease, to always create, to always make your art no matter what. This is what This is what will propel you on through the unique forms and pathways your individual lives will take. It is to be celebrated, this power, this talent. Celebrated, respected, reciprocated, accommodated, and nurtured. It is what connects you to Bay in Namibia and to Giotto, Michelangelo, Rembrandt, to Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, and Cage, to Blake and Whitman and Beckett, to Martha Graham and Cunningham, and all the rest. This is your company from now on, your real graduating class. Here is the true thread of the history of art as told from the artist's side, not the historians, from those who have actively engaged in the creative struggle, who have put their lives on the line. As of tomorrow, you are about to join their company. Today represents our version of an age-old initiation ritual, a rite of passage. Tomorrow you are officially moving out into the world. The party's over, as my father used to say. I like to think it's just beginning. You have learned the notes and the scales, and now it's time to close your eyes and play the music, to forget all that you have learned so you can really use it to perform the tasks at hand. To let your hands and heart take over from your mind, to begin to feel your instincts assert themselves over the logic of facts, techniques, and instructions that the college has imparted to you. Now is the time to find your voice, to uncover your unique song. It is a special moment of promise and anticipation. But the future, any future, is both exhilarating and frightening. The questions resonate silently here before us. How can I make a living? How will I survive? How can I gain the experience I need working in my field when I can't get a job without that experience? Where do I go to practice the skills I have spent so long perfecting? As of tomorrow, you can't just pop into the department and use the equipment and facilities to give form to your latest idea. This moment is certainly one of the most difficult transitions of your artistic career. And as artists in today's America, you face an even more daunting task: to move into a society that has no real place in its established institutions and structures for the contemporary artist, for the unfettered exercise of personal vision that forms the central core of that inspirational thread of shining individual lights that we call art history. Make no mistake about it. As creative artists, you are moving out into a world that is markedly more hostile to individual creative expression than it was when I graduated from art school over 30 years ago. The pervasive indifference and the striking examples of open hostility to contemporary art practice that confront you in America today are more than a potential personal threat. They threaten through your own indifference, resentment, dejection, and cynicism to turn you away and disconnect you from the very community that needs to hear the message, from the eyes and ears, alert and hungry, just below the vulgar surface of public posturing, manipulation, and shrill propaganda. And it has always been this way throughout history. The great works have often been made in the face of even greater opposing forces. At times, the world appears not as a vehicle of opportunity, but as an obstacle course, with everything from vehement opposition to material success deliberately set to distract and divert you from the path. So what will you do? Today, you will receive a diploma from a major institution of higher learning, thus positioning you to enter the leadership class of this country. Not only do you face the uniquely contemporary task of finding a hospitable place in the community for your artistic voice, a community that is increasingly behaving like a fortified compound under siege in the hostile territory of itself. But You are entering a society at a point in our nation's history where government of the people, by the people, for the people has become cast as a problem and not the solution. Where the common good is perceived as a threat to individual freedom and an impediment to private enterprise. Where the most trusted members of our community, the clergy, business leaders, elected officials, are engaged in an immoral, unethical, illegal behavior cloaked in lies, deception, and corruption on an unprecedented scale and magnitude, resulting in the untold suffering of countless innocent people who have entrusted to them their lives and well-being. Where free and unregulated personal expression is increasingly perceived as a danger and a threat to the powers that be, to the point where real attempts are being made to limit and impede our right to freedom of expression as guaranteed by the Constitution itself. Wait a minute, wait. This is not a description of some historical documentary on PBS. It is happening right now, in our lifetimes, right before our eyes. So when you leave here, please be vigilant. Please stay awake and be aware. And most important, please stay engaged and involved. Please do not let smugness, cynicism, or indifference enter into your art practice. The full measure of your success as an artist will only be limited by the degree to which you compromise or knowingly violate your own inner principles of honesty, fearlessness, and personal integrity. Inscribed on the entrance into the Temple of Apollo in ancient Greece, and still there today, are the words, "Know yourself." Disengaging this, if we can, from its current contemporary interpretations from personal psychology, self-help therapies, and New Age gibberish, we find one of the greatest and most succinct descriptions of the basis of all religion and philosophy and art. Know yourself. For the self being described here is much more than just me. It suggests an ongoing process of revelation and the uncovering of something within us that unlocks and flows through the much larger patterns and forces underlying the world outside of ourselves. This is the single great work of life, barely begun for you here, to always discover, to grow, to know more, and to continually be a student. Although you have just completed the purchase of an education from a private institution, your creative talents remain a gift and not an acquired possession. And like any true gift, they ultimately exist outside the ways of the world, beyond the system of commodities, markets, and private property. They retain their true value only by being given, by circulating, by being shared and passed on, like in the story of Bay. Therefore, your own unique creative vision is one of the only things that is truly yours, and only you can give it away. Material possessions, friends, family, even your own body are only temporary vessels. Creative acts live on. Creative acts circulate and engender other creative responses. This is why the real work from now on is to know yourself in the largest, open, most expansive way, and why, coming from this, your artistic gifts can and will take you farther and higher over more walls and barriers than you can ever imagine. Stay open like a wound. Rumi, the Persian poet of the 13th century, said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." So I want to congratulate all of you on this great moment, and especially from the bottom of my heart, wish that you may have the strength and perseverance and courage to hold on to your vision no matter where it takes you. Thank you.